Okay, so today Jonathan Majors appeared virtually in court with his lawyers, the DA's office, the judge, to talk about the charges that's being brought against him. Now, I'm going to read you the article in Deadline, what they say, and then I'm going to come back and give you my thoughts about it. So, according to Deadline, it says Jonathan Majors facing witch hunt, lawyer says of domestic violence case. Actor appeared virtually in court today, back next month. Appearing virtually for the hearing, the Creed 3 actor saw the Manhattan District Attorney's Office make a public superseding complaint with a charge of third-degree assault. The Class A misdemeanor has a maximum possibility sentence of 12 months behind bars or a 3-year probation term. Barely visible to the gallery on screens facing away from the seats, Majors did not enter a plea to the new charge. In fact, dressed in a beige shirt and against a pale off-white background on screen, Majors had little to say Tuesday beyond yes ma'am to Judge Rachel Pauley. The next hearing in the matter has been set for June 13th. The judge told Majors he has to appear in person for that. I'm required to inform you that, as you know, if you fail to appear in court on June 13th, a warrant can be issued for your arrest within 48 hours. And if you're brought back on the warrant, the next judge can revoke and even set bail. I obviously don't want that to happen. Additionally, Judge Pauley reminded the conference and Majors that he must abide by the order of protection, barring him from any contact with the woman in question. Outside of the court today, Majors lawyer Priya Chandri was blistering in her assessment of the DA's case. We have provided the district attorney with irrefutable evidence that the woman is lying, including video proof showing nothing happened, especially not where she claimed. The lawyer said, we did this with the explicit promise from the DA that they would not fix their case and change it as we prove the woman is lying. This is a witch hunt against Jonathan Majors driven by baseless claims, Chandri went on to say, citing glaring double standard in a statement to Deadline. Instead of dismissing the allegations in the face of the woman's clear lies, the DA has adjusted the charges to match the woman's new lies. To be clear, there are no new charges against Jonathan Majors. Okay, so after reading that, I'm going to go by a couple of things. Because remember, they said the DA was interviewing and talking to other women about possibly coming forward about Jonathan Majors. And according to his attorneys, they're saying no new charges has been brought against him. Second, they're saying that it's a Class A misdemeanor that if he's found guilty, possible he can serve 1 year in jail or 3 years probation, and that he's due back in court next month. So we don't have to go down this whole list from the beginning up to now about what happened, because we already know what happened. You know. Now, my thoughts on this case is that I hope that he's not found guilty. I hope that he's not, because when it all came out, we was all shocked, like, really, because this guy was blowing up, his career was on fire. He was just, on his way up there. And then when the charges came out, a lot of us were shocked. But then the fact that the woman recanted her story, and it was like, okay, and some people was confused, like, okay, well, she said one thing and now she's saying something else, so why is he still being charged? That was the thing that had some people curious, like, what's going on here, you know. And in my opinion, I feel like if the woman recanted her story, and based on the evidence that his lawyer has been his legal team has been providing, that the case should be dropped. They shouldn't proceed with it because, like I said, if you got somebody that says one thing and then changes to something else and then changes to something else, that to me shows that, yeah, you're lying. And do I really want to waste the taxpayers' time and money with something like this with a person who's obviously uh, consistently changes their story? You know. And then the next thing is this: is with all this stuff that has happened, the question that everybody wants to know is this: is Marvel going to keep him or are they going to drop him? That's the question that's been floating around since day one, since this stuff has taken place. Are they going to keep him or are they going to let him go? Some people said Marvel needs to drop him. Some people say Marvel needs to hold on to him, you know, and they've been giving their reasons. Me, my opinion, I feel this is what Marvel's doing because he appeared today virtually and they just saying what he's being charged with. But from now up until next month, you know, the charges could be dropped. They could come to some sort of agreement, say, hey, let's drop the charges, let's not go through with this. Because we seen what happened with Alec Baldwin. They was charging Alec Baldwin with charges, and then all of a sudden the charges got dropped. You know, so I think that Marvel was saying, hey, let's see what happens before we just make a decision because we don't want to make a decision that's going to come back and bite us in the butt. You know, meaning that, okay, he's going to appear in court next month. So let's see what happens when he appears in court. But at the same time, they are having meetings to figure out to say, like, okay, if it goes this way, this is what we're going to do. If it goes this way, this is what we're going to do. You know, if it goes this way, this is what we're going to do. You know, if we have to replace him, then these are the list of candidates that we're looking at to replace him. So, yeah, they're having those meetings to already have a plan put in place just in case it goes either one of these routes. You know, but at the same time, I want to say this, and I know some people might be mad at me when I say this, but this is what I'm gonna say. Because you got to look at Jonathan Majors, he's like the new face for Marvel. You know, if you look at the last Ant-Man movie, you know, it was not that good, but he made the movie good. Then he's going to be appearing in the Loki television series. And if you look at the new Avengers movies, the new Avenger movie says Kang Dynasty. So Marvel has invested a lot of time, a lot of money into this guy, which I'm pretty sure is probably close to the hundred. I'm pretty sure it's in the billions. So in Marvel's case, they're like, okay, we have to be very careful about the decision that we make here. Because when you have billions and billions of dollars invested, that's not something you just walk away from. Okay. When you have a lot of money. Because you see what's happening with the whole Ezra Miller situation with the Flash. They invested a lot of money into the Flash film, and they was facing like, okay, do we release the film? Do we let it go? What are we going to do about it? But they said they're going to release the film. Now, the thing with Jonathan Majors and Ezra Miller, those are two different charges. Because Ezra Miller did some way out shit that, in my opinion, yes, he should be dropped. Okay, he should be dropped. But with the Jonathan Major situation, it's totally different because, like we said, the woman recanted her story. His attorneys have been presenting evidence, and they've been doing everything to show that this guy is not guilty of what you guys are saying that he is. So Marvel is just like, okay, man. Theirs is like, oh, they just sitting there like, okay, damn, how are we gonna play this? But I think that their thing is like, let's just kind of wait it out to see what happens. That's what they're doing. Because let's take a stroll back. Remember the whole situation with Johnny Depp. You know, when Amber Heard was like, okay, Johnny Depp did this, he did this to me, he did all these terrible things to me, and this would have been going on for some years. And a lot of people was taking Amber Heard's side because they're like, oh, she's a woman, he done this, all this other type of stuff, right? But when they went to court and what Johnny Depp's team proved that everything that Amber Heard said about him, that not only was it malicious and vindictive and done out of spite, that she was lying. And when she was found out that she was of all these lies that she did, and when she was found guilty of those lies that she did, people were sitting back like, oh shit, okay, yeah, we fucked up because we were going by what she said and thinking that he did all this, and now look what happened. Because Johnny Depp went to court to clear his name. And now some people still may feel some type of way about it, but he proved his point and he proved the case that Amber Heard was a liar. Okay. And so now in this case, with the woman recanting her story and doing all these things, you know, you looking at the district attorney like, okay, do you really want to pursue this case? Because looking at the evidence and looking how she consistently keeps changing her story, you know, do we want to really go through with this? And then not only that, let's just say if this does go to court, do we really want to put her on the stand? Because if you put her on the stand, we know his team is going to tear her ass up. Just like what Johnny Depp's team did to Amber Heard. They tore her ass up on that stand. So looking at all those things. But like I said, I just think that Disney is just saying, hey, you know what? I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion. I just think that they're saying, okay, let's kind of see what happens first before we make a decision. Because we don't want to make a decision that's going to come back and it's going to bite us in the butt. So we'll just have to see what happens and see how this is going to play out. I'm definitely going to keep you guys updated on what's going on. But you guys let me know how you feel about this. Jonathan Majors made a virtual appearance today in court. He's due back in court next month. How do you feel about this? Do you think he's going to be charged? Do you think the DA is going to drop the charges? Do you think Marvel is going to keep him? Do you think they're going to let him go? I want to hear from y'all. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this. And until then, stay tuned.